Pastor Eric Fink, and I serve at Living Springs Lutheran Church here in the northeast part of Columbia, South Carolina. I've been pastor here for close to 5 years now after serving in other congregations. Our congregation is 30 years old, and wonderful ministry here. So Michael, I'm really excited about what's happening with you and Randy and your family. Could you tell me a little more about Vision of Giving and how did it start and what exactly is it?
Well, Vision of Giving was started after the death of Brandon, and Randy and I were left with trying to figure out how we were going to heal as a family. Mm-hmm. And it kind of came through conversation and friends where we started a nonprofit, and we decided that the best way to find our healing was to work through the churches and make some donations, and at the same time it gave us the ability to help a lot of families. We thought by staying interacted with all the churches throughout the summer gave us the ability to find that healing that we're looking for as a family also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a wonderful blessing.
The aspect of 100 churches, which is kind of how this grew from, was we thought if we could visit 100 churches, make 100 donations and work with all those families, that would be an amazing summer, not only of giving, but in the same sense of healing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pastor, what made you decide to work with Vision of Giving?
Well, Randy, as you know, we here in our congregation, we actually were blessed to know Brandon for a number of years, and just the incredible light that he would always bring into the room when he was here, and the wonderful ways that he inspired us every time he was around, and to see the possibility of that light continuing to shine throughout our country, through other congregations, through this ministry that you've really been inspired to start as mom and dad, to see how God was present, working to get you as a family through some very difficult days, those initial times, and to know that there are just so many other families out there across the world, here in our country, everywhere, who are going through difficult moments, whether it's the loss of a child or a family member, maybe something completely different, some other very difficult thing they're facing, and to know that Vision of Giving has been inspired by Brandon's memory and legacy, to be able to bring hope and light to families whom you've never met, whom we've never met, but there's this there's already this care and love for them, to know that there are other people in the world that they've never met who really care about them indirectly, and then to make that love and care direct through Vision of Giving is going to be an incredible blessing as you spread the story of your journey.
What do you hope the congregation here at Living Springs takes from the events that you may hold and the message from Vision of Giving? What do you hope they take away from that?
I think it's a very tangible reminder for us that God's strength, God's presence is there, and invites us to have our hearts open to even more powerful expressions of means through Vision of Giving, to be able to help families that we know in our community may be going through some very difficult moments, to find a very concrete expression of love, to be able to share with them, to let them remind them that they're not alone, that there are many people who are praying for them, care for them, even though they might not know us by name, that we're still that we're representing a whole network, what's going to turn out to be a whole network of congregations throughout the country who are really there to support families throughout all these states, all the churches you're visiting, and to make a difference, to get them through some difficult moments, so that they in turn can share that gift of love and support and grace with others down the road. And it's passed one link in the chain at a time.
Well said.
So Mike, really, what do you hope to get from these amazing visits you're making to all the churches as you travel across the country?
Well, I think we're really hoping to get what we all want, which is we want healing, we want relationships, and we want connections. And I think that's the biggest thing that we'll all take away from this, not only myself and my family doing the traveling, but also everybody that we meet with, those connections are permanent connections for us for years to come, not only with the individuals, but with the other churches. Because we've decided that as we make those connections and those relationships, we want to foster those for years to come. So what we hope to get is relationships, love, and healing.
So Mike, tell me, why the 100 churches? I think that's just a wonderful story.
It started off as a much smaller number. It wasn't 100, but when we started to take in our first donations as they were provided to us, we started to realize that we could divide that number by 100 and it was still a nice number to each church.
Right.
And so the number 100 first came up and I went, well, we could do 100 churches.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody else thought I was a little crazy.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at a calendar of, how many Sundays, how many Saturdays, how many Wednesdays, and you think about 100 churches all packed into about 7 months, it does become a pretty daunting task. But it truly is our goal that every church that we have a relationship with, every church that we make a donation with, we want to make a physical visit in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
And in some cases, it's, on a Tuesday afternoon, just to say hi and thank you and introduce ourselves. But the 100 churches was kind of a number that came up and it just stuck. So it gave me something to reach for. It's a goal, if you will.
Right.
Correct.
And say more about how you're getting there, because I think that's a wonderful story too.
Well, we thought in the beginning the family truckster would not work.
Yeah.
So a business associate of mine that I've known and done some work with, he and I were talking. He actually lost his son in an accident about 2 years ago. So when this happened, he truly understood the path I was in. And he understood exactly what was going on in our life. He had, just finished a year and a half of that himself. His son was a bit older when he died, but he said, I know how to help. And I said, really? And he has an RV. And he said, I can help you. He said, come down here, we'll work it out, I've got it for you. So actually just recently, we traveled down to his home and picked it up and brought it back here to South Carolina so we can get it set up and get it ready for travel. But yeah, he was the one who helped us acquire that RV so we can spend the entire summer traveling. So we're traveling around in a 35-foot Class A beautiful RV. It's just gorgeous, what a gift. And we're going to travel all across the U.S. in that as we visit all these churches. This is, we came up with the name Vision of Giving. That was actually myself, my wife, and my two boys, Connor and Austin. We sat down and we kept throwing around names. And we had lots of different names and that one stuck. But I will tell you, with where we're at today, with the things we're able to do, with the places we're able to go, the churches we're able to visit, there is no way I could have done this. There is no way. That is for sure. The people I've spoken with, yourself, having the opportunity to come, for example, here at Living Springs, share an amazing meal that we're going to have in April, meet all the people we're going to meet. That event, in my view, and all of the others that we'll do throughout the year, they're just a small block, but at the end of this, we're going to have built an entire wall of healing. And each one of those visits, each one of those places will be a block in that wall. And I've said to my wife quite a few times, I'm really excited to see where are we at in November? Because even though we're personally still trying to come to terms and heal with a very personal situation, there's people just like us. And we're not looking to run out there and say, feel sorry for me. We want to help them.
Sure.
And that's why we're going. So this journey certainly couldn't have come together just because I wanted to do it.
No.
There's something larger, and more people had to help and make this happen to make it come together.
Well, many blessings on the journey, and I think we're doing a map here at our church, so we'll have the map
Yes.
and be able to move the van around to see where you're at in all these different locations and congregations, and know that when you travel, you'll be traveling with many prayers from folks here at Living Springs, and many prayers for the congregations that you visit. And I pray that might be an outcome too, that there'll be a whole network of prayer that develops among these 100 congregations.
I hope so.
That God guides, that God leads you to.
So, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation to come here to the church, time with you today, and also in the coming weeks as we get ready for our dinner with your congregation and the others you've invited. So thank you.
Blessings.